let's go ahead and get started today. I got just a couple things I want to talk about, and then we're going to have the group from Plant Operations and Maintenance talk to us a little bit about the recycling program happening on campus, and then we'll come back at the end. I'll talk a little bit about the financial stability and answer the questions both that have been written on the cards as well as any questions you may have in here. Just want to remind everybody of the power outage this Saturday. Clean the refrigerators tomorrow. Don't want to come in and be too stinky on Monday morning. And turn your computers off. Be sure to turn your computers off tomorrow if you leave them on. In fact, it's a good idea every day to turn your computers off. It saves energy, but it also allows you to get the updates that may come through. And these days, with all the security issues going on, you want to be as up to date as you can be on your computer. So the best thing is every day when you leave. Now there's some of you that work in offices where there's scripts that run overnight and so forth, and you know who you are, have to leave those on. But everybody else really in the practice of every day when you leave, turn your computer off, turn it back on the next morning. That way it saves energy. It also protects you with security and other kind of updates that come through. So want to do that. Just also announce that although we're going to talk a little bit about finances today, the next conversation, which is 2 weeks from today, which I think is the 20th, if I remember my ad, is the 6th, right? So it's the 20th. We're going to do a focus that day on finances. So we're going to go through the October financial statements that will be presented to the board on Tuesday, the 18th, at the board meeting. And we'll go through a little bit of the cash flow analysis and sort of an update on that. And our new Vice President for Finance, Tejas, will be part of that. I'm going to throw him totally off the end here because he only starts next Monday. But I want him to be part of the presentation. And I guess I can delegate, right? So I don't think it's super right. So let's move on and let's start off with the recycling update. And Manny, you're going to kick it off?
Sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
So Manny, you got two things. This one goes to the recording, so you can put it in your pocket and pin it on. And the other one is the mic for the room.
Okay, thank you, sir. I'll try to get her all in here.
Okay.
Yeah, just slide it in your pocket.
Cause you too much of an issue.
Get all these things so people can't come and watch them.
Thank you. Let me call this up here, Patrick. What's he doing here? There we go. I probably got it. Oh. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arnold Emanuel, and I'm the custodial manager for the Santa Fe Community College, and I'm also your recycling manager. And to my right is Patrick. He is the recycling clerk for the campus recycling program. I start, I'd like to thank a few people which help us to invigorate the recycling program. Thank the president for providing the guidance to Henry and myself to get this program started and reinvigorated. I'd like to thank all the plant operations maintenance managers, Brian Combs, sustainability coordinator, for all the input and help to revitalize this recycling program. And I'm just going to go right through it real fast here. Oops. Yeah, it is. Let me turn the power on. No, boy, I'm really hurting.
There you go. Just hit this right here once.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's not on.
You don't work with those every day.
Not these. Okay, so without further delay, I'll go ahead, please. So what we have is the recycling clerk. We have Patrick McCoy's contact information if you require to contact us for anything. Mike Spicer, our student worker, his information is also on there. And of course, myself and Henry, if you need to contact us. Recycling, following the goals of the recycling program, and to meet the goals of the sustainability plan. So what we plan on doing here is to, all the proceeds will go directly to the student scholarship and the ability program. And we already have funds in the program. We got about $2,200 in the scholarship fund as we speak right now today. The second goal is to remove the cost of the waste removal following the KPIs, the key performance indicators. And we also want to support the Santa Fe Community College Sustainability Plan. We want to provide you with routine service pickup throughout the entire college campus to include our neighbor, which is ETI. We plan on redistributing all the collected goods that we collect, recycled goods. We will expand our community outreach. Right now, we're talking to one of the grocery stores that's in Rancho Viejo, and we're going to start accepting their recycling as part of our community outreach. We also have a point of collection of recycling goods, which is located in 400M, which is directly behind the kitchen over here to our rear, and that's our recycling center. We plan on inviting the public, staff, faculty to visit the recycling center on the 13th when we have the recycling fair. So I hope you guys come back and let's see us. And of course, the distribution, that's as far as the post-consumer usage. That means that where we send our recycling goods to, like Master Fibers, Capital Scrap, you actually know what these things are being recycled. Your bottle of water or your bottle of canned water or the box water will be repurposed, refined, and reused somewhere in the community at all times. At this time, I'll go ahead and I'm going to turn it over to Patrick and let him discuss the next quick items here. All right. I'll take this side. Thank you, sir.
So, how you guys doing? Good. These are the materials we're currently recycling and collecting. You see, we're pretty much doing plastic 1 through 7.
Yes.
All the aluminum steel, glass, dry cell batteries.
So it's no longer only bottles for the plastics? Thought it was bottles and
No, we're taking bottles, and what else are we referring
like
to?
yogurt cups and
Yes,
cottage cheese and those kind of.
yes, yes,
Can you take those?
yes. So those are so all plastics. So 1 through 7. Usually your yogurt would probably, or your yogurt or your cottage cheese would probably be number 6. So we're definitely taking that as
That's
well.
great because the recycling places don't take
The
those.
city's program is
Correct.
to use the same post-consumer outlets.
Correct.
Awesome, that's great.
So yeah, so right now they're taking them from us. We don't know how that'll change in the near future. So right now we are taking 1 through 7.
Okay, that's great, thanks.
Yes. So,
Patrick, does that include the clamshells like the salads come in?
yes, those are number either 5 or 6, I want to say. Okay. So so who we're giving them to or selling them to, they're taking that from. Okay.
And it's based on the market.
There you
Depends
go.
on if they can get those goods moving. Especially number 3, we start with plastics 1 and 2 because there's a rumor going around. We only do plastics 1 and 2. That's not really the case. We do plastics 1 through 8. They will sit on it for a little while until they can get the market so somebody wants it because a lot of those plastics are specialized and it takes a lot to get the toxins out of the plastic, which everybody thinks about. But that's the reason why. But we do 1 through 8.
Thanks.
Okay. So as well as your dry cell batteries, coffee lids, and our future plans is to start doing composting. Okay. So that's everything we're doing on campus. As far as off campus, which is BTI, bicycle company across the street, we're collecting their cardboard, their plastics 1 through 7, and their paper, a lot of their invoices and stuff as well. Let's see. Okay, so as far as plastics, like say 1 through 7, just give you a few examples of things that are there. So you see your yogurt container at the bottom. And your number 7, which is another, they consider it another or that's what they call it. That's usually like your banquet cups and stuff when we do cake day. I'm sorry, I can't get the name of it. But no. Cake and fruit day, let me say. How about that? But usually those cups are number 7, so we're doing those as well as far as being recycled, as long as, like I say, all depending on or based off the market. Okay, so up to date, and everything I'm going to tell you as far as weight-wise is to fiscal year to date. Okay, so starting in July, so all the weights I'm going to show you here are from July to present day. Okay, so 2,400 pounds or 2,500 pounds of plastics year to date or fiscal year to date. Okay, so it breaks down to a little over a ton of plastics. There we go. Aluminum. Okay, we're doing beverage cans. A lot of you guys have the Monster drinks. Okay, make sure they get into the aluminum, please. Okay, Monster drinks and your Red Bulls. So we want to capture as much as possible. Okay, so your beverage containers as well as construction waste. Okay, so that's stuff that's coming from when they just redid the adjunct faculty office. Okay, some of that stuff was aluminum, some of it was steel. Just kind of depends. Okay, so we're pretty much 260 pounds as far as this fiscal year. Here's your steel. Okay, so your big tomato cans or tomato paste cans, stuff like that. Okay, that's where a lot of this stuff comes from. As far as our culinary program, they provide a lot of that to us. And as construction waste, we're capturing a lot of that too. Okay, a little over a ton. Okay, of materials collected. I'm sorry, a little less than a ton of materials collected. Okay, so 1,500 pounds or so. Oh, there we go. Where'd that go? I think my finger's too big. Sorry. That's the wrong way. Here we go. Doesn't like me. Yeah, my finger, sorry. No, it's not going. Sorry.
If you do the down arrow keys, it works just as well here. See these?
Yeah, I guess so. We'll go here. You got it for me? Thank you. Here we go. Where are we going? Go up. Steel. Paper. Here we go. Paper. Okay, so paper. All your white ledger paper. And thank you. So, white ledger paper. So all your paper, we recently just started collecting paper. A lot of it was going to U.S. Shred, and we were shredding all of it. So please help us out and keep all the Social Security numbers and aid numbers and stuff. Put those into the U.S. Shred bin, okay? But the rest, or it's not rest, but everything else, we want to try to collect it and get it recycled, okay? So right now, we're roughly a little over 2 tons of materials processed and recycled thus far.
Don't recycle what gets shredded.
Would get shredded. Your personal shredders, we take care of, okay? So your personal shredders, we're actually collecting revenue from that. Right. But everything in the bin goes to U.S. Shreds, okay?
Right. So let's talk real quick.
Yeah.
So what we plan on, once we talk about the confidential shred, stuff that contains information that's too sensitive just to throw into a large paper bin. Once we get the chemical to shred in the recycling program, we could take that confidential shredding and shred it right spot and then recycle it instead of giving it to U.S. Shred and let them recycle it. And that would eliminate that expenditure in the recycling program.
But by doing this processing of this paper now, we've eliminated a vendor and the cost of that vendor is
Correct.
really half of Patrick's salary.
Correct. So it's helping. So please take that extra step and just shred it yourself. Please, thank you. Okay, glass, if you guys can help us out with this, we're looking for suggestions on glass. There's a tough market for glass. So if anybody has any suggestions, please contact one of us, okay? Less than a ton, okay, of glass recycled, okay? Cardboard. Cardboard is our biggest revenue for us, okay, as far as for the scholarship. Okay, so we're roughly 10 tons of cardboard that has been processed and sold thus far. Okay, so 4 months. so practically 10 tons.
I have a question when you said help us out about the glass. Are you talking about someone that would reuse?
Yes, yeah, so I'm sorry. So someone who, can, I guess, use this glass that we're actually collecting. You guys know that with the Plastic Bottle Initiative, okay, so what's happened is we have an influx of glass, you know, and we had one person who was actually taking it, but you can find anybody else who would, can benefit from glass, and it's one company that I've been looking at online that's based out of, I guess, the Lamy area, if MapQuest was correct, and we know sometimes that's a little shaky, right? But there is one company who's actually making Adobe bricks with glass in it as well. Okay, so that is just something I have to contact. Yeah. Okay, you know about them?
I know about an Adobe brick maker.
You go. Okay. So, okay.
Not in Laney, but.
Okay. So yeah. So we're looking for somebody we can get rid of the glass to. Okay. But like I say, cardboard is one of our biggest things. So that's cardboard that was here on campus as well as across the street at BTI. So the good thing about us is we're the point of collection. Well, for the most part, I'm the point of collection. Point of distribution, okay? And as well as taking the check or whatever the case is to the cashier's office, getting it processed, going into the fund for the scholarship that'll eventually go to TATC, one of the students in TATC. So this is all the materials here in the middle. Give you a poundage of what we've collected thus far, okay? Thank you, guys. Oh, we got one more. I don't know. I think it's one more slide. Yeah, just in case. Okay,
So I'll just take over.
go ahead.
So in conclusion, I'd like to say that we plan on engaging our student population for participation in the recycling program. A couple of students have already came to us and said, hey, Manny, how can I get involved? I said, we're brand new, we're getting started, and when we get ourselves ready, you can jump in. And so there are students actively engaged with us, and we plan on engaging more of our student population. We plan on continuing to expand the Santa Fe Community College recycling program to gather more stuff. We might get into, if we're allowed to, the e-waste. Like Patrick said, the composting. Sites that we look at the future, we can do some real composting, print on the eastern side of campus that we're going to be probably looking at somewhere in the future. And of course, we're going to continue to expand our community outreach, get more community members involved, like BTI, the one grocery store, Rancho Viejo, and any other people in the community that wants to participate with us as an active program. And lastly, real quick, I just wanted to share, that last number you guys saw, that 30,000 pounds, well actually, since we started the program, we have already removed out of our waste footprint over 72,917 pounds of solid waste. And that's all. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
Since you're gonna be collecting some additional plastic items, are there gonna be bins available in the kitchen areas, or is there someplace we can bring that?
That's a good question. We do have collection points throughout the campus. You've probably seen the little beige bins, and they're like there's 2 recycling bins. You can put all in there. It's all single stream kind of, because we will store it out of the single stream. Yes, ma'am.
Matt Sherman can address that. We're trying to build a, Matt, you want to address that we're trying to build the collection thing?
Calhoun Operations Management is involved in design and contributions to it, and hopefully we can extend it. It works.
And we and Matt are working together. I seen the prototype and being taken through the whole process, and we'll get something started there. Yes, ma'am.
What kind of informational, or you have like any display boards or anything that will be educational, teaching people about recycling and that kind of thing? Is there any sort of marketing and PR that's going to be involved in this?
Yes, we are working on marketing here. I'll work with Meg Linzer and others, and there is a website. I think we should work on making it up that defines what we do on recycling. We're going to probably post some of this information on Jack, so folks can see what we're doing. We'll post other things to tell you how to recycle, what you can and cannot recycle Yes.
now that your recycling spots?
Right, we provide that, as a matter of fact, in the recycling, we got a whiteboard we just put up outside, we're gonna populate that with information, to tell you what we're doing current today. So if you wanna walk back to Florida and you seeing things, you can come in the room and visit us as we're sorting and doing things to include the paper. And we'll be glad to let you see exactly what happens in the program.
Can they help?
You can help, you can definitely help.
Well, yeah, we like, we need sorters.
Matt?
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Student ambassadors gets together every Friday from 9 to 12 with an open invitation. And I was hoping you guys would come and explain to that group what school's doing regarding recycling and composting. Please.
It would be our honor and privilege to do that.
Thanks.
You got the presentation already.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before I turn it back to the president?
All right.
Okay,
Well, thank you so much. I know we're all pretty excited about the fact that we're going more and more into the recycling world. Number one, we'd like to reduce what has to be recycled, but we're committed to whatever we can, we're going to recycle. And the fact that we're raising scholarship funds, I think is great, a great job. I just got a couple of things I want to say, and then we'll kind of move into the questions. I know some people have been giving Rosella, who works in accounts payable, bearing the brunt of the fact that we're not paying our bills right now. And it's not Rosella that's not paying the bills, it's me. So I just got to remind everybody, we do not have the cash to make it through November and the first payroll in December if we pay all our bills. If we pay all our bills, then I can't make payroll. My number one priority is student disbursements, so we have to pay students refunds, we have to disperse their financial aid that comes into the college. And then number two is payroll. We're working with vendors. We're playing the timing game. We're putting some payments that we can on credit cards after November 16th because that buys us another 30 days float until we get that county property tax distribution in the middle of December. But I am every day reviewing pages and pages of accounts payable, and we're deciding which ones we have to pay, because some vendors will cut us off and we can't cut off food at the kids' camp. We can't cut off the food over here in food service. Some are really small vendors, and we've got to pay them to keep them going. They can't keep their doors open. And then a lot of our vendors are you, because you travel or you've paid for something that's been approved for, and so we're making sure you get reimbursed first. But we are holding lots of vendor payments, and it's not Rosella that's doing it, it's me that's doing it. And that's because we're gonna meet payroll, okay? We're gonna meet payroll on November 14th, we're gonna meet payroll, that is the 14th, right? On November 28th, and then on December 12th. And obviously after December 12th, but after December 12th, we're okay, because we get $4-something million December 15th. So just wanna remind you of that. But I also don't want anybody holding invoices. If you have invoices that have been received that you need to approve them and get them in the system. We need to know all that we owe to everybody so we can plan accordingly. So approve them, process through the system. At the end, I make the decision, basically, we pay this, we don't pay this, okay? And we have that from information some of you have provided. We have that from us directly contacting some of our vendor partners. We have a number of our vendor partners that we have been their customer for years who are working with us. They're going to allow us to pay for October, November, and December, in late December, or in some cases even in January. Now our plan that we're working on, you'll see a little bit more of this when we get on the 20th, we'll get caught up on all of our accounts payable in January. So everybody's going to be current, okay? Still got to watch it for the rest of the year because we don't have a whole lot of cash. Our reserves are not where they need to be, and that's going to take a number of years to get them really back to where they need to be. But this is the most crucial year in that respect. But all your cases need to be in. I need to know what is the total payable out there for the whole college. We are making decisions not pay some vendors And we're not paying some vendors and they're not happy with us. If they're ones, if they cut us off for 2 months, that's fine. Okay, we can live without it. So, anyway. So I just wanted to make that comment. Mm-hmm.
Also, understand what the administration wants to do, that everything that are necessarily going to get paid right then and there, you can put them on hold. So I know some of you are actually holding them until you're like, oh, I made an arrangement, we don't have to worry about that invoice until.
No, we want them on the system, and I decided to put them on hold, okay? So,
You can put them all on hold, so don't feel like you have to do the cash management on that.
Right,
Let us
right,
get it, and
right.
there's be no for all the things.
I want all invoices in because I want to know. I don't want to be surprised because all of a sudden 1,000 invoices show up that we didn't know about. Then we owe more money than we thought. So everything needs to be in. We will make the decision in my office in conjunction with the others as to which ones are being paid now, which ones we're paying partially, and which ones we're holding. Okay, and so that's a daily process from now until almost when we leave on winter break. Okay. One other thing we'll talk about, the higher education center is moving right along. I know that we're planning a big open house ribbon cutting ceremony. It's going to be January 14th at 1 o'clock. We're trying to make a fundraising event also. So it's a combination of a ribbon cutting and potentially maybe even a fundraising event as we move forward. But things are looking good over there. Some of us have had tours. Taking the mayor and the city manager over, I believe it's Monday afternoon, either this week or next week, on the 17th. So we've got a lot of partners. I'm meeting with a partner on Monday who may be going to give us some cash to support and sponsor one of the rooms over there. And so we are working really hard. We're trying to raise $1 million to go towards supporting the completion of the higher ed center. We're completing it out of a variety of funding sources, but I'm trying to get sponsors to take naming rights for different rooms or to underwrite different programs. And so we've sort of set a goal of trying to raise $1 million, which is pretty ambitious in Santa Fe to raise $1 million for something like this. But we've got some pretty good leads, and maybe in the next week or so I can announce one that's going to chunk towards that building. Just to remind you, our Vice President of Finance, Nick Tejas, starts on Monday. I can't wait. I'm almost to the point of counting hours instead of days. I need some additional help in that area. We all need some additional help in that area. The interviews for the Executive Director of Human Resources is ongoing. I think they actually complete their first round of interviews tomorrow. What we're planning to do, just to let you know, is I don't know what the number of finalists are going to be, but we plan to actually do an open forum kind of situation like we did for the Vice President of Finance, where those finalists, how many ever there are, come in, make a presentation. The committees come up with some questions that they want them to come and present to the group. And so anybody that can, and I'd encourage all of you to go in and sit in on those, then they'll meet with me for a one-on-one interview, and then we're hoping to get somebody selected and hopefully in here as soon as possible, certainly no later than January, but if they could start sooner, it'd be great. So before we go to questions, the only other thing I want to say is that, and I want to thank Amy and I want to thank lots of other people in the finance area, we're looking and tracking our cash flow every day. And so we are looking, where are we today? What do we know that's out there that we can pay? And, you know, we have got to really control our purchases. I'm going to approve purchases that relate to things that have to be done for the classes that are currently meeting. But many of you in this room know I have already turned down things that are just not required to finish the semester. We just can't spend cash, and we got to pay our bills, and we're going to make payroll. I just want to assure you all, we are going to make payroll. We've figured out how to do that. What we haven't figured out how to do is pay other people. So but we're still working on some ideas to do that. So I guess I'm ready to take some questions.
Okay. I saw a listing for Tina LaCaz's job. Oh, I saw a listing for Tina LaCause's job, Director of Institutional Research. With so many departments desperately understaffed, why is it more important to hire a new director instead of splitting that salary between 2 or more other employees?
So there are some positions that we just have to fill. You know, as an institution who's following the AQUIP process, data is key to everything we're doing. All of our agencies, even the ones that are tracking us daily because of our financial situation, are relying on data, and it needs to come from there. So we are going to fill that position, but we aren't going to fill it tomorrow. It may be January. So we're looking, when we have the actual money in the bank to do that. So there are some key positions that have to be filled. We identified that when we went through and did the whole process for the financial stability plan. That's why we identified a lot of positions that were vacant, that would stay vacant. But the other ones that are in the budget, for the most part, we need to fill them. We may be slow in filling some of them. Okay, so we've, for example, we just hired a new director for the Santa Fe Small Business Development Center. That person's not going to start till January. Okay, people we have in charge right now are doing a good job. They can take us to January. So we're going to get some of those things in place. Okay.
I think Josh wanted to add.
Josh, you want to say anything onto that one? Sure. Tell us a little bit about what you do, besides just data.
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, thank you so much for this opportunity.
So you get on YouTube.
Oh, I get on YouTube. Hi, everybody, YouTube. I was so excited when I saw that question because I finally get to explain to people what the IR folks do. So thank you so much, whoever you are asking that question. I think it's a legitimate, good question. So the IR folks do a lot of different things, and it contributes heavily to the.
What is IR?
Oh, thank you. Institutional research, short IR. So thank you. IR stands for institutional research. And so, for example, the recent $15 million we received for our federal grant. That a lot of work went into from the IR folks, the institutional researcher folks, working nights and weekends and days to get that information, so that it was possible for us to apply really, really strong in the data component. Or the $10 million that the Education Department just recently recommended for us for the next fiscal year. We don't know what's going to happen, of course, because of the legislature, but that happens because we were able to give them the data to represent, to show what a great work we're doing. And on the subject of great work, a lot of people on this campus is now using data to make improvements. And that's one of the things that people have been doing that allowed us. We're one of the few institutions that's really, really significantly improved our student completion and student success using data. And the IR folks are crucial to get them that information so we can make that moving forward. Or the multi-million dollars we get for financial aid for our students. Well, us actually reporting that information to the federal government about how many people are here and what they're doing, we can't even apply for that financial aid. Or let's just say the fact that, but I do understand everybody feels that they're really, really short-staffed and really, really tight right now. Our IR folks are working above 40 hours a week on a regular basis, so the pain is felt everywhere, I think. Internally, 3 years ago, the IR folks reported roughly 50 data sets to people on campus. Last year, they reported 240 reports. This year, it's not over yet, but it's 340 reports. So we are incredibly grateful and excited that so many people are now using data to help them do their jobs, make their lives better, and help the students be successful. So that's sort of why I want to talk about why data is important for us to really make decisions and make improvements. And thank you very much.
You can tell that Josh hates data. Next question.
HR is requesting that some long-term employees complete an I-9 with documentation within 3 days, quote unquote, or else. Long-term means 17 to 20 years. Why? Part-time adjuncts are required, in quotes, to come in on their days off. After 20 years, couldn't it wait another day or two?
So the answer is, and I'll see if Becca wants to add to this. Number one, we have to be in compliance with federal law. We got gigged on an audit last year for not having our files up to date. Some people have been long enough that they may have been here long enough that they didn't have to show this kind of information hard, but now it is required that we have it in their personnel file. And the reason we chose 3 days is that's what the IRS gives us, or the Immigration Service gives us to prove citizenship. It is federal law that anybody who's employed has to prove that they can legally work in this country. And so there's a variety of ways that we can do that. We have some employees who are here on visas, and the visa they originally showed us has expired. Becca, do you want to say anything, or we just read your numbers here?
I'll do it.
Okay.
So I'll back up for a second. We went through 107 files, which are the active employees.
907.
What did I say, 107?
107. 900.
907.
Here's your notes.
I don't have my glasses on.
Oh, it's nine. I'll read it. It's 907
It's
files.
907 and, hold on,
Okay. Oh, she's got them.
I know the second number. And we identified 62 incomplete files, which, as Randy said, the law went into effect in well, he didn't say 96, but it did go into effect in 96. So there are some personnel. 80, I'm sorry, it's yes, 86. So, the files were incomplete. The note went out because with the notice, explaining that there was an audit. I didn't put in the note that it's an annual state auditor's request to look at the files. It was very important to update them as quickly as possible. Everyone who has responded and asked for an extension has gotten one. Everyone who said, I'm only here on such and such a day, we said, that's fine, just bring it in then. As long as we can report that, the state auditor is fine. They need to know that as an institution that we are working to complete these records. And it's a shared responsibility. This is something we have to do together. This is something that it's not meant to be a gotcha, and there was never an intention of, there's no assumption of blame for the employee. This is an issue about maintenance of files. I can't speak to what happened before I got here 12 weeks ago, but I can speak to fixing the processes and ensuring that going forward, we have the right system in place. Yes. Student stipends go into that category also? It's anybody who gets paid for working.
If you're on payroll, stipends may or may not actually be on payroll because there's student workers and there's stipends. So student workers do have to report.
Yeah, student workers on payroll, and a student employee would be included. Other questions?
If we have someone who no longer works here and will not be working again, is that, we should still try to?
No, not if they no longer work here. But we did pull this from an active list. If somebody isn't working here and no termination notice came through, they're still seen as active. We've got to get that cleaned up. We actually found about a half dozen of those that we thought we had cleaned up. But if there are more, we need to know.
And some of them could be adjunct faculty who only teach in the spring and didn't teach in the fall. So if they are going to teach in the spring, they've got to get their paperwork in.
So just please know that, that this was not meant to be a gotcha at all.
What's the fine? What's the fine?
It can range from 100 to 1,000 per person. I mean,
Per day.
Yeah. And this is something that we can easily remedy and prevent from happening again. And so this is something that we're in together that we need to fix.
There was a follow-up question.
Yeah.
People were wondering if we have to have a concern about our records.
Right.
Because don't these things have social security numbers and that kind of thing? Do we need to worry that our records are in good hands?
I can speak to the going forward. Do not worry about records being good. What we want to do, we actually are revamping the filing process. We've actually, been in place for some time. It was really just reaffirming one that was in place. And we are going to be part of the request for a document imaging project for next year, because we really need to get this, just in terms of space and wasted paper. Speaking of the previous subject, we need to get these into an electronic form that can be secured even more thoroughly and more easily retrievable. So I do appreciate that concern. I personally just think it's a critical role for human resources to protect that information. And that's what you should expect of that department.
I just want to add, we have no evidence that any of that information has gotten out anywhere that it shouldn't have. We are concerned about it, and we'll be making sure of it. Part of it has been Becca came in and has inherited a process. Sometimes there's multiple files. Some of this paperwork could be in somebody else's file somewhere else in HR, but I think they've pretty much gone through and cleaned all those up, because you've been spending a lot of time refiling and reorganizing the files. So we have to be compliant. We can't afford those fines. Just can't afford those fines.
And I just want to mention, this is the second audit that I participated in since I arrived. And that one, was very quiet and didn't have these kinds of issues. So audits are very everyday business in human resources. Just so you know, another one coming. And this is part of a collaboration with OPIE office, and that's in preparation for accreditation visits. We're going through and ensuring that all those files are current as well. And so if questions come up, we'll get to you. My request is, don't speculate about why it's happening. If you don't have if you're feeling you're not getting information you need about why you're getting this request, please just call us, because we'd be happy to talk to you about it. We just also don't want to cause lots of concern by, am I waiting to be heard for a request? Only stuff that we can't find or is missing or is never suppliable.
Thanks, Becca. You read it.
Halfway through the fall semester, the college should close half a day on Fridays, being as no one is on campus. 2 S's, exclamation.
Just halfway through the semester once? I don't know if they're talking about closing one day or one half day, or they're talking about closing every Friday. But, we are publicly funded. We've got to be open when the public expects us to be open. I did talk at the last, conversation about trying to see if we can move towards keeping most offices open from 8 to 6 Monday through Thursday, and maybe we could close early on Fridays in some cases by staggering times and so forth. So, as tax-funded individuals, they expect us to be open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Now, they forget that we have a lot of business we do between 5 and 8 o'clock Monday through Thursday nights, and again on Saturdays, because we have Saturday classes and Saturday students. But the general public thinks we ought to be here 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. And so if we're not here, we better have a pretty good explanation for it. And a lot of them, to be honest with you, are pretty concerned that we already closed for 2 weeks at Christmas and a week at spring break. And we're one of the few colleges that actually closes for spring break. So, but I'm open to considering all these things, but there's a lot of issues behind all of them. Okay. Is there another question?
Yes.
Yes. While you're typing? Yes.
Yes. Explain the communication process used for this weekend's power outage. First, a power outage was announced. A week later, it was announced that Canvas would be down as well. Why wasn't this included in the first message? Then a new announcement on Jack changed the hours. It was announced other computer systems would be affected as well. There is contradictory information regarding what hours campus will be open this weekend. Many of our students work full-time on the weekends for schoolwork. In classes that use Canvas, the instructors changed deadlines in response to limited access on Canvas. Faculty and students need as much notice as possible when online services are affected. It should be well known to OIT what systems rely on SFCC power.
So we're always concerned about power outages, and we're always concerned about students. We had no choice on this one. P&M mandated that we had to install a piece of equipment that has to be installed. We looked actually at trying to get them to do it over Thanksgiving weekend, but then we actually kind of realized, although that didn't really work for them, that would probably even be worse for students to canvas down that close to the end of the semester. So the feedback we got from talking to different people in academic affairs was that the earlier in the semester, the better. When we first got notification from P&M, we only thought we were going to be down a few hours. If we're down just a few hours, then our generator can keep the systems and all the services up. But we then found out that P&M required something different, and it's P&M telling us that it's going to be down from basically noon on Saturday to about 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. We're hoping it may come up sooner. It's kind of like going to a restaurant. It's better for them to tell you the wait's 40 minutes and it's only 20 than the other way around. So we're hoping that we'll actually be up and running a little bit. But the challenge is, no matter when the power outage is over, it takes a while because we have to bring all the systems down to get the systems all back up and running and everything synced. So there's two things to blame here. One is we put in a 1.5 megawatt solar array, which is going to save $250,000 or more a year for the next 30 years. To get that up and running and start saving on electricity, we have to go offline at some point in time for P&M to install this piece of equipment that's required, and just wasn't any other choice. But the original thing was it was going to be a few hours, then it turned into 24 plus.
Thank Fran for her hard work.
Yay, Fran. Fran, did you write that?
President Grissom had an inspiring meeting with Camila Bustamante about the waste station. Can you ask the marketing department to assist with the design of the awareness campaign poster over the next week, please?
So I've asked the marketing department to try to do this. The problem is we've got other things on our plate right now. And the number one thing right now is getting schedules and advertisements out so students enroll for classes start paying us in registration on November 17th. And we need the cash. And as much as I want to do the recycling, that's not their number one priority. So I've encouraged them to try to look into it. We're going to do what we can do, but there are just lots of things on everybody's plate, as we know. So we've had to prioritize some things. Yeah.
We have, on campus, we have media clubs, things like, could we ask students to maybe pitch in? And
Absolutely.
And that wouldn't be against any regulations?
No.
Just, okay.
Actually,
No.
we referred that to student development because there is a graphic designer who's quite talented in there.
And there's also in the student club. So there's no reason why students couldn't help out with this either. So and if it violates any kind of it doesn't violate policy. It's just what's on it. I'll deal with that issue. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, that's it. Oh. Well, that's the written questions. Any other questions from the group then? All right, Matt.
When can the marketing department make a poster or contribute to a poster, if not within the next week, to get America Recycles Day represented from the top down? When?
Well, the feedback I got was with the schedules, they could do something certainly. If we went to a campaign in January, that would be great. We want to do more campaigns that go throughout. Could be on the screens around the campus. Can be posters that would be on certain areas. So we want to organize and do these campaigns in a coordinated way. And so that was the feedback. I don't know if they could do anything soon or not. It's just expecting to do something within a week or even 2 weeks of a request. All of us are backed up in terms of what we can do and what we can handle. So that's our biggest challenge right now.
What's the point of contact in the marketing department if we do come up with a campaign and wanted to bring it up to him? So he could review it.
So Janet Wise is the executive director of marketing. So she may assign it to somebody else within her area to look at, but she's the point person.
Okay, thank you.
What else? All right. Well, thanks for coming, and don't forget in 2 weeks, if you really want deep into finances, we're going to do it.